And we are live and in person, everybody. Welcome, Phil Nagy on Sports, joined by Kit Nagy, hanging out on the West Coast as he often does, bringing you our pregame keys here for this Week 15 matchups against the New York Giants. Our heavy breathing, I think, has finally slowed down a little bit after that Ohio State game, if you are also an Ohio State fan, not just a Browns fan. But we should be in, and if an undefeated conference champion can't get in, then something criminal has happened. But we'll see what happens. But regardless of that, it's time to talk Browns and how they can get this W in New York. So, Kit, let's start with the offensive keys to the game.
All righty. Well, so on the offensive side here, it's all going to start with drive efficiency. This is an opportunity against a still very good defense, but it's an opportunity where we should have the ball quite a bit, and it's an opportunity to really build something offensively that we can sustain into the offseason or to the postseason, excuse me, and build that efficiency on the offense where we're really clicking up front. It's going to start, of course, with the run game. And that's going to lead into my second key here. If we can build that drive efficiency, it's really going to be, man, we got to get back to the run game basics in this one, where we're really feeding the rock to Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and really kind of forcing it down their throats. They've got a very good defensive line, but we can definitely tire them out. A lot of guys there, good rotation. But we definitely have the ability to run the ball on them here, and we need to take advantage of it. And then that will set us up for some great play action, especially with Bradbury being out. That should be pretty good for us. And then the last piece here for the offense is to make sure that we're getting our points off of any turnovers and any short field opportunities. Goes along with that drive efficiency, but just we got to capitalize. We got to make sure that we are taking advantage of the opportunities that this offense is given, and continue to really, continue to have a hot offense going into the offseason, because that's really going to serve us, or the postseason. I keep saying that, into the postseason, because that really is going to serve us well.
Yep, for sure. For sure. I'm right there with you. All those things would be great. What about the defensive side of the ball? Are we worried about Colt McCoy and Freddie Kitchens?
No. So not particularly worried about either. I was a little bit, I had to shake my head a little bit with the beat reporters trying to claim that they should look at 2019 tape because Freddie Kitchens somehow that's indicative of an offensive install that is 100% Garrett's install and not Freddie Kitchens, and who calls that install has nothing to do with the way it's going to look. Yes. It's absurd. Just so much craziness, obviously. So and the funny thing is, like, that happened here, so they should know better. But, obviously they don't understand how this works, but whatever. Anyway, so on the defensive side here, no, I'm not terribly worried about Colt McCoy. We know exactly what Colt McCoy brings to the field. We saw it here in Cleveland. He's a little bit more the wily veteran side of the house now than he was back then. But on the other hand, he didn't have the arm he didn't have then. I mean, it's not like his arm has suddenly improved. And he's primarily a short field game man. Like, you want to talk about a game manager, Baker's not that, but Colt McCoy certainly is. Mm-hmm. He's very much the game manager style. He's not going to make as many mistakes as maybe Jones would have, potentially not as many turnovers given up. But on the other hand, we're looking at mostly underneath throws. I mean, he only had 105 yards in his last start, so it's not like we'd expect a lot of production out of him. So just to get that going, we really need to worry more so about Wayne Gallman and that rush attack. So stopping the run and earn the right to rush Colt McCoy. Okay. The more that we can get that run game stopped early and often, the better that we are going to put them in positions where we can then rush. And that line has been like a sieve. Not that I don't think, Andrew Thomas in our situation with Callahan, maybe he gets coached up and he's better than he is this year, but whatever they're doing over there is not working with him. He's been awful. He gave up 2 or 3 sacks in that last game. They had a total of 8 in that last game. That line is not looking good. And I think that's something that we can definitely take advantage of. To that effect, I think we need to stack the box. take away short yardage passage. They're not going to go over our heads. So even with a weakened secondary, with a lot of our guys still being out, although having Denzel Ward back is going to be huge for us. But even so, the stacking the box and putting a bunch of bodies up there, taking away some of that short underneath passes, knowing that they're not as likely to take the top off our defense, especially with the Colt trying to throw the ball, puts us in a really good spot to really shut them down. And then really get into the third key here is that our D-line's got to feed, and I think they will. I mean, they should be out there getting all kinds of glory, with maybe Sheldon calling for a whole bunch of halves and Garrett out there just doing his thing. Hopefully he gets really back into the thick of the Defensive Player of the Year conversation with this performance. I think this is going to be a great week for him. And looking ahead a little bit to next week, I think next week is also a great opportunity for him to really make, cement his statement, if you will, for this season and what he brings to this team.
Sure. I'm definitely with you there. Responding to a comment. Special teams key this week?
So on the special teams side, Joe Judge is also a special teams coordinator, so those guys are going to be coached up. And it's pretty much the same thing that we talked about with Baltimore is just, be the better special teams unit. Go out there and take care of business on the special teams side and making sure that we clean up. I'd like to see no penalties for the special teams this time. But really be the better special teams unit.
Does Parkey need to have a bounce back game in your mind?
No, I think he actually did that in that game. Okay. The fact that he went because those are not, first of all, not easy kicks. They had the one penalty that knocked them back, and now he's got to make an extra point to put them up by a point, which was got to have it territory, as well as the final extra point, which, again, he had already missed an extra point in a field goal, and then he comes back in another clutch situation where now we have to have the point just to tie it at 42. So no, I think he bounced back effectively in that game. It's hard, especially as a kicker. Talk about a mental game. The two positions that are very much mental games where guys tend to struggle are quarterbacks and kickers. And so if you can come out the first half and look like that, and then within the same context of the game, get yourself in the right headspace to go out there and make some critical clutch points. That's what you ask for from the kickers. And I think that's exactly what he went out there and did in that game. And I think that should be hopefully I know you don't want to see him miss those 4 points, and that could have been the difference in the game. However, it should be very encouraging that he was able to take that, those two misses, which are big misses, and then come out and get it straightened out within the context of one game. So I think that should be encouraging for people.
Okay, great. All right, overall keys for victory at MetLife tomorrow night.
So I don't think anybody is really going to contest that this is a team that we should be better than. We got to take care of business. First key absolutely has to be take care of business. Get out there, go with the 1-0 mentality, do what we're supposed to do out there. Don't come out flat. We have to be out there and treat this like a game. Don't overlook them, and then make sure that we are doing everything we can to win this game and being that whole execution piece. We can't go out there and not execute because we're better than this team and should be better than the team. That's how you lose to teams that are not as good as you. The other way that you lose to teams that are not as good as you, if you saw, much like the Ohio State game, if you let teams like that hang around for too long, they very well can come out and get something big and beat you. You don't want it to come down to that. So the key being, don't let them hang around. So that means, if we get a lead, let's not just hang on to the lead. Let's keep sticking it to them. And that's going to lead into my third point, which is let's go for a blowout performance in this one, because if we can continue to perform at that level, so a little bit more balanced, even if we're ahead, because if we go for that more of that blowout win style performance, keeping the foot on the gas like we've talked about, not only that does that kind of take them out of the game, especially if we continue to score and running up the score. I'd rather see that in this one, because it gives them no chance of winning. But on top of it, it also gives us something that we can push forward to a postseason and show that we can do this if we need it in the postseason. It's something we really haven't done very much of. And yes, I understand the game management with clock management, run the ball when you've got a lead, all that stuff. We've got a great running backs. We've got a great line, and it would make sense that's what you want to do. But there is still a balance that you want to maintain too, where we can continue to be effective and efficient and in the offense, and you still need some balance for that, right? So a little bit of passing, and that's why even in that Ohio State game, even though Sermon just had a day, let's talk about, wow, that was, setting that record at 320 something yards is crazy. That 331, that game for him was just amazing. It was that Eddie George in 95 that he took the record from. Yep. But that record stood for a long time for a very good reason. So very impressive for him. But even so, it wasn't all runs through the rest of the game. They still had some passes in there because you do need a little bit of that balance, even with a little bit of a shaky setup that they had on Ohio State. I would like to see the same, or I'd like to see us maintain at least some of our balance, even if we're ahead, to keep throwing the ball a bit. Got to keep them honest, right?
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, before we get into the score prediction, let's maybe pick one player on either side of the ball that you're looking for a big day from. Maybe not the household names. Who's somebody maybe a little under the radar we should be watching for tomorrow night?
Okay, so on the offensive side, let's see.
Guys, I put him on the spot, everybody. I'm putting him on the spot here.
Yeah, not prepped for this question. That's okay. We'll take a look at this one. I'm actually expecting some good play out of Bryant. I know we have on this channel talked about Bryant quite a bit, but he is a player that I think needs to make a statement for himself, especially because the most of the last of the big action we've seen from him has included some fumbles. I think we need some big action from him without the fumbles. I think we need some big chunk yardage. We need to get him involved in the offense, and I want to see that from him in this week because this is a good opportunity to take advantage of some of the matchups that we may have out there, especially since they're going to have to rotate some guys in their coverage since their number one lockdown corner is out. So that gives us an advantage on the matchups game. And I think this is a chance for the tight ends to really step in. And I'd love to see it from Abercrombie because I think he's got the opportunity. I'd like to see the young guy really develop in that respect, as far as I think they've coached that now. I just want to see it in practice. Sure. Where, we saw that some in the last game where he was, two hands on the ball, making sure he wasn't going to fumble. But I want to see that on the big play. I want to see that on the yard after contact type situation, because that's the vast majority of where his fumbles have come from is when somebody's poking it out from behind when he's got that long yards after contact or after catch. Absolutely. I keep saying contact, but yards after catch. And that's where we want to see it. So I want to see that development has happened. So I'd like to see that from him in this one because it's a good opportunity for it.
Okay.
On the defense, I think this is a chance. This is a chance for us to make a statement from our linebackers. They were a bit maligned in that last game. And I'd like to see some of the young guys step up. We've seen some Taki of late, but I think this is a chance for some of our other young guys to kind of step up and make more of a statement. So maybe some Phillips in this game would be really great to see. Yeah. And hopefully he can have a big game. We already talked about the D line. So maybe get some Elliott love out there too, because there's a good opportunity even up the center. Center rush could produce some pretty good stuff, both in the run stuffing as well as in the rushing the quarterback if we put them in those positions. But I will say I would love to see Larry Ogunjobi really clamp down on the run in this game, because that's something that he has not been as effective with.
Absolutely, yeah. We're keep waiting for that breakout performance from him. I guess on the plus side, if you want to re-sign him, his price tag keeps going down.
That's true.
Based on the performance so far this year. So, all right, well, we finally figured some things out maybe with the Sim. Either that or the Giants are just really bad. But Browns were able to get the Sim victory 27-24. What is our official Nagy on Sports score prediction for tomorrow night?
Yeah, well, before I get into that, let's be honest. Some of the other teams we have played have been really bad. So I think it's pretty encouraging, even though the Giants haven't been great, that, because we played the Jaguars, right? They've been pretty terrible,
Right.
and they looked awesome in the sim where they probably shouldn't have. But to the score prediction side of this, I think we do take care of business in this one. I think our defense has a good day, and our offense takes advantage where they need to. I think we're going to see a 31-13 Browns victory in this one.
31-13. Okay, you heard it here first, folks. You're testing all your fire alarms at your house today, kid?
No, I think that's my mom doing laundry or something along those lines. Or maybe that is the fire alarm. I don't know. Not sure.
That's all right. All good. All right. Sorry, I was just answering a comment. Tilted's on. He thinks Browns are going to do 28-17 as well. So
yeah, I could see that.
we're excited about that. So, all right. Well, appreciate you joining us on here. Obviously, go Bucks if that's your thing. And we will talk about this game after it happens tomorrow night. It's awesome getting flexed to the Saturday night appearance. That's super fun. So we'll get out of here the way that we always do by saying, go.